Welcome to the Plebstyle YouTube channel. You are watching the Ultimate Guide to Steel Wallets. Part 1. What is a steel wallet? Let's dive right in. In this series, we will talk about different aspects of steel wallets. This first part will give you a good overview about all the basics that you need to know. So, what is a steel wallet? We will break it down for you into 4 sections. First, purpose. What are they used for? Benefit. How can it protect your Bitcoin? And remember, there are numerous different types of steel wallets out there. We will provide you with a nice overview. And finally, we will present the most important characteristics that will help you spot the difference between a good and a bad steel wallet. Let's get started with the purpose first. In a nutshell, a steel wallet is a backup of your private key. So let's take a moment to illuminate the concept of private keys first. The private key is the key to your Bitcoin. You can imagine it as your Bitcoin password. You can access your Bitcoin funds on the blockchain with this specific password. If you lose this key, you lose access to your Bitcoin. And if you give it to somebody else, that person has full access to your Bitcoin funds. It's a no-brainer that the private key needs special protection. The private key is a hex string of 64 characters, which means that it consists of letters from A to F and numbers from 0 to 9. It could look something like this. As you can see, it is really easy to make mistakes here. Remember, if you lose your private key, you lose access to your Bitcoin. But luckily, since the Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 39, or just BIP 39, the private key can be represented as either 12, 18, or 24 words. These words are composed of a predefined word list of 2048 words. Let's take a look at one example. So here you can see 24 words that could make up a private key. If you have never seen a word list like that, chances are that you're not holding your own keys and your Bitcoin are lying on an exchange or somewhere with a custodial. You do not truly own your Bitcoin. Someone else is holding them for you. Anyway, these 24 words represent your private key, and they are called mnemonic seed phrase or just recovery phrase. Well, simply because you most likely use them to recover your Bitcoin funds if you lose access to your wallet, for example, by losing your phone, trashing your computer, maybe losing your hardware wallet in a fire, etc., etc. It's very important that you do not, and I repeat, do not give these words to anybody. Whoever has access to your seed phrase has full access to your Bitcoin. Remember, not your keys, not your coins. Your steel wallet is a physical backup and a durable backup of your seed phrase. It should hold it for all eternity. So for that, the seed phrase is stamped or punched in metal. And it contains 2 pieces of information: the position of the seed word, first, second, third, 21st, and so on, and of course the seed word itself. Why not just use a piece of paper? What's the real benefit of stamping it into steel? Well, it adds additional protection layers to your security game and is especially designed for catastrophe or disaster. So it protects you against mechanical stress, meaning high forces cannot destroy it. It should also withstand fire, and ideally both of those threats at the same time. Just think of a house burning down to the ground. It also protects you against hackers, simply because it's offline. Theft, well, you have more hiding places, more options, like outside, because it should be resistant to water and corrosion. Also acid, but acid is quite an exotic attack vector. Remember, your backup is your last man standing when it comes to a disaster. It's designed as a backup for catastrophes. Up next, different types of steel wallets. Let's start with modular blocks. These wallets use a whole bunch of small modular plates with single letters on them. These letters are combined to create your seed words and at the end your entire seed phrase. You don't have to do any work or stamp anything. They are very convenient. But there's a risk of losing those letters, for example by falling out, if the wallet is damaged, thus compromising your seed. Stamp metal cards. That's the classic. So it's usually a piece of sheet metal where you stamp in your seed phrase using numbers and letters. It's just a piece of metal. There's no additional protection layer around it. It can withstand a certain amount of deformation, but at the end, your seed is only as safe as the material of this card. Dotted metal cards. Very similar, but here you only punch little dots into a piece of metal using some kind of additional encryption method. Again, there's no additional protection layer around it, and small deformations of the material can and will most likely compromise your seed phrase. Remember, a steel wallet is your final backup and your last man standing in case of a catastrophe. On the plus side, there are very small versions out there which makes hiding them a lot easier. It doesn't make them more robust. Still, small damage can and will have big effects. And finally, we have capsule wallets. These ensure enhanced security through a capsule, which serves as an additional physical protection layer. You have the seed phrase stamped on metal, for example, on seed discs on the inside. So if the wallet gets damaged, you have this additional protection layer, you have additional protection, and your seed phrase is safe. Let's talk about the characteristics that make a good steel wallet. But before jumping into this topic, I want you to understand that Bitcoin and self-custody is self-responsibility. You need to be aware of your personal attack vectors. You are the bank, so you are the one protecting that bank. For example, if you are a farmer, you own a lot of land, and you're hiding places outside, fire and mechanical stress may not be a threat, but corrosion and trespassers could be. On the other hand, if you have your steel wallet inside a building, fire and mechanical stress are most likely a threat to you. Also, there are more methods to increase your protection level by increasing your complexity level. Some of you may have heard of passphrases or methods like 2 out of 3, which means you have 3 steel wallets. If one gets stolen, you're still safe if you have access to the other 2. We'll talk about these kind of methods in a different video. Today, we talk about steel wallets only and what makes them secure. Let's start with the design. Design doesn't mean that they need to look pretty. Looking good or being a pretty steel wallet does not add to your security level, so this doesn't matter. What we mean is that you have an additional protection layer, like additional housing, for example. That your steel wallet is small, so they're easy to hide. Also that they're inconspicuous, meaning they're not suspicious. They don't look like they are valuable. So don't put a Bitcoin logo or anything on there that makes your steel wallet a target if someone finds them by accident. Tamper evident. This is usually achieved by providing an extra seal for your steel wallet. It may make it look more suspicious, but on the other hand, you see if somebody has messed with it. Especially if you have one of those 2 out of 3 solutions, this may come in handy. So what else do we have? Readability when damaged. So here, stamping is much better than engraving because stamping gets deeper into the metal and gives you more protection. Letters are better than dots. 8 letters are better than 4 letters. Just look at this scenario. You are in a catastrophe. You only use the first 4 letters, which are enough to define the exact seed word. But 2 of the letters are not readable anymore. You will be more than happy if you have 4 other letters at the end of the word to reconstruct the word. It only is a little bit of work compared to the amount of time you would like to have the steel wallet. And for obvious reasons, letters should not fall out. Let's talk about material. We will make another video just about material, but here we'll give you the most important indicators. The indicator for resistance against water, acid, and corrosion is called PREN, P-R-E-N, pitting resistance equivalent number. This number tells you how well it's suited against these threats. The higher, the better. The mechanical stress is best measured using the yield strength, not the maximum strength. The difference is the yield strength measures when your metal or your steel wallet is being damaged and deformed, and the max strength is the indicator when it breaks. The thing is, you still want to be able to read your seed phrase, and it doesn't matter if the whole thing is broken or not. It matters if you can read it or not. That's why the yield strength is the right indicator. When it comes to fires, there are two interesting indicators. One is the melting point, and the other one is high temperature strength. The melting point, however, is most likely irrelevant. Why? Because stainless steel and titanium have much higher melting points than any fire can get. And stainless steel and titanium is what most steel wallets are made of. What's really interesting is high temperature strength. This indicator tells you how soft a material gets when it gets warm. So does it get soft like a candle, or does it keep its strength? And fun fact, even though titanium has a higher melting point, its high temperature strength is much weaker than that of stainless steel, even of the cheapest stainless steels. We'll cover that in the material video. And thickness of material, the thicker the better. Even if you have a bad steel or bad titanium, if you have lots and lots of it, if it's really, really, really thick, you're still safe. If you cannot wait for the material video to come out, here's a sneak peek. This table is full of scientific data, and you will find the link in the description. What's also beautiful about material science is that you can verify it yourself. So if you want to verify something, just go to Google, type in your type of metal you're looking for example, 316 Ti, add datasheet, and you have all the information. So you can live up to the Bitcoin spirit. Don't trust, verify. This was just the first part of our series, The Ultimate Guide to Steel Wallets. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.